I have brought on not one but two gentlemen to push back on my Big 12 power rankings. Christian Rauh of Locked On Kansas State, Richie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils. Richie's on the far end of the screen, but he gets to go first because he's the most upset. That's the world we live in. You get rewarded for those sorts of things. So in my Big 12 power rankings, Richie, as neutral arbiter of all things college football, I have Texas Tech 1 and Arizona State 2. Would you like to explain why you think this is such a blasphemous decision that I was so rudely dragged through the mud by your Twitter account that I assume was run by you?
Two accounts, yeah. My account and Locked On Sun Devils.
Yeah.
Drake Toll's intern must have gotten a hold of it. I don't know. But he did say a lot of very smart things. Look, Spencer, I love you, man. How do you look at Arizona State bringing back basically everything, including the coaching staff, including the assistant coaches, including quarterback, receiver, four starters on the offensive line, almost the entire defense, and they upgraded spots like kicker, which, we could not kick last year. It was so bad. Kenny Dillingham held tryouts in the middle of the season. They upgraded across the board. The logic that you had for Texas Tech was the consistency and having the quarterback back. The only thing that you had mentioned that ASU didn't have was the head coach, the time that they've been there, right? Kenny's going into his third year. I apologize, Texas Tech fans. I totally blanked on head coach.
Joey McGuire. Joey McGuire is the individual you're looking for.
He's
the disrespect.
Well, here, Texas Tech fans know who I am, and they know that I love them. But right now, I'm frustrated with one Spencer McLaughlin because every reasoning that you gave to put Texas Tech ahead of Arizona State has. And last I checked, hold on. Okay. Who finished first? Arizona State. Who finished second? Oh, it wasn't Texas Tech. Third. Wasn't Texas Tech. Fourth. Wasn't Texas Tech. Fifth. I don't think it was Texas Tech, was it? They were fifth or sixth.
It was all a cluster. Everyone was separated by one or half a game or whatnot. It was all mad and craziness. I don't remember all that. Christian, I want to bring you in on this. And my friends, several of them, unfortunately, have dubbed me Goldfish Brain. Because I tend to forget things.
Sid.
So because yeah, I don't forget that one. So Christian, can you refresh my memory? When Arizona State and Texas Tech squared off on the field last year, do you remember who won?
Oh, yeah, it was quite a good game, but I think just like Richie said, and just like you said, you want to be like goldfish. You know why goldfish are the happiest animals in the kingdom?
Because they have a memory of 10 seconds.
That's right.
That's
right.
crazy. Wasn't that week 4?
Maybe Richie should.
That's
maybe remember
crazy.
That?
Sure do. Yeah. Don't worry. We get them this year. And as me and Chris Level are talking about tomorrow on Locked On Sun Devils, Locked On Texas Tech crossover, that might be your preview of the Big 12 championship game.
It very well could be.
Tell Game Day to put it on their schedule.
Yeah. Okay. So, Christian,
I would like that game.
I would. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'm sure Christian would rather have Kansas State in that game. We will get to them in these power rankings, but just so everyone is clear, Texas Tech beat Arizona State last year, and they had some other stumbles that led to them being 8-4 instead of the 10-2 that they should have been. But I love Texas Tech's offseason. I love what they bring back. I like their coaching staff. That's only 1 year more veteran than Arizona State's, but is still one more year into their system than Kenny Dillingham and company.
Lost that.
Christian, I would like for you to break the tie here amongst the three of us gentlemen. Who should be the preseason favorite in the Big 12? I say Texas Tech because I am, in the words of some, a fool, and I like paper tigers. Richie thinks I'm cuckoo and thinks it should be Arizona State. And where do you fall in this debate?
Yeah, look, I think both actually have a very solid argument for it. Spencer, when you talk about having the offseason that Texas Tech has, there's not another team in college football, not just Big 12, but college football that has had a better offseason than Texas Tech. But, and here's the caveat here, the nice little BUT, Joey McGuire hasn't won 9 games yet while being with Texas Tech. So it's more of the, can you prove it to me with the talent that you have? Locked On Podcast Network came out with their Big 12 preseason rankings. Those just came out as well as your power rankings. I went and gave my first place vote to Arizona State. There's a reason that they won it last year. They started from the bottom. They made their way all the way up. I know
now we're here.
Hey, I know that's not Drake Toll quoted, but it's another Drake. Either way, I had to give to Arizona State. Until Joey McGuire can get that 9th win on his docket, even with the talent that's come in, I do think Texas Tech's can be really good. And I do think McGuire gets that next step to what he needs to be as the coach that program needs with all the money they're willing to spend. But $4.1 billion that guy sold his company for, and he's willing to throw it all into there. So, but until then, man, I got to give it to Arizona State.
Okay. All right. I understand that. I don't think it's a blasphemous opinion. It's wrong, but it's not blasphemous. And that's what we really strive for here at the network. But here's the thing. There is more pressure in Lubbock than there is in Tempe this year. If Texas Tech doesn't make the Big 12 championship game, just make it. If they fail to make that game, that is a serious disappointment bordering on failure unless they are 10-2 and sneak their way into the college football playoff, in which case, of course, that's a success. The difference, though, for you guys in Sun Devil land, Richie, if you don't make the Big 12 championship game this year, there is no lack of proof that this staff can get it done, right? There's no cloud hanging over the program. There are questions. How do you take the next step? How do you move forward to be able to beat a Texas, which they were within one play of doing in a couple of different moments in a controversial but exciting football game? Those are different sorts of questions. So I don't deny that these situations are different and there's more pressure on Texas Tech. I mean, if Arizona State were to miss the Big 12 championship game this year, how would that land for you?
I mean, it'd be a bummer for sure, but something that me and you have talked about before, Spencer, is one run to a championship, a conference championship, doesn't mean that you immediately put on the same expectations of, well, now you have to win it every year. But you also have the stigma of what did I say when we started this? Almost everyone's back. Well, you just won 11 games with that team. Shouldn't you win 11 games again? And they lost some big pieces. I'm not going to pretend that losing Cam Scadaboo does not seriously put this team behind, but that's kind of the tricky situation you're in. Kenny Dillingham says you have to raise the minimum expectation. Well, he way exceeded the minimum expectation, going from 3 wins to almost quadrupling that number in his second year. So, yeah, I don't know what you do with your expectations in year 2, because I'm not ready to say it's playoff or bust, but I'm also going to sit here and look at this and tell you, there's not a lot of excuses for the same team to not have the same success, especially because of how great Sam Leavitt was down the stretch and how dominant Jordan Tyson was down the stretch, and those two are back.
Yeah, that's you raised some valid points. Real quick, Christian, what if Kansas State misses the Big 12 championship game this year, and then later we'll finish up my Big 12 power rankings?
Yeah, let me just throw this in here to kind of put him to what Richie said, and then I'll answer that question as well. But you mentioned, Richie, if Arizona State doesn't make the Big 12 championship after winning it this year, it won't be the end of the world because of starting so slow the year before. That's the first year of Dillingham. That's a realistic take, but that's not going to be the take your fans take.
Yep.
Take it from me as a Kansas State guy who won the Big 12 in 2022, then had 2 straight 8-4 seasons.
Dude,
right?
You're 100% right. That's not the opinions that the three of us share and other people share is not what the fans share. It's not what the 17, 18, 19-year-old kids who are in their first year of college and going to experience an ASU football game. You're 100% right. And that's what makes this so difficult, is measuring what are accurate expectations, right? But yeah, no, please continue.
Yeah, as for Kansas State, that's where it comes to there. If you have another season where you missed the Big 12 championship for the 3rd year in a row after winning it all, the same year that you beat a team that went to the national championship in TCU in 2022, I don't think you start raising questions about Chris Kleiman unless you finish 8-4 or lower, or there's some serious injuries. But if you are not at least in a tiebreaker situation heading into week 12, and you miss the Big 12, there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of concerns heading into the offseason.